Hi guys, good evening. This is Shiva.
Shiva, very good morning. I mean, good evening.
Good evening, good morning for the people from various parts. So I've just unmuted everyone, gentlemen. So you can mute yourself. And a small advice, I request everyone whenever you are having any question in between, you have this hand raise option, so you can click over there, and so that I can get to know that you have some question. Then I will stop the topic and we can have the question placed instead of suddenly while I'm teaching some topic. If suddenly you come up with a question, the other people are losing the connect. So let us have this process. Keep your hands raised so that I will come to you individually. Okay. Okay. So to get started, yeah, before we get started with today's session, so basically yesterday's session we have taken all the intro part, gentlemen, like what are the different modules that we have in SuccessFactors suite, what are the two different systems, like provisioning system and the front-end instance system, the two systems, how they look like in the navigations, the implementation methodology, the deployment models, all this, and the certification model, all this we have discussed. And in today's session, we'll be targeting like on the topic of on the day one, once you're certified and you're allocated to a project, what are the things that you have to start with? Once you're in a project, what are the things that you have to start with in the project with the day one activities? How do we get the access to the customer system? All that we'll look into. So before I go into that, any questions from anyone with respect to the previous topic, previous session? Fine. So to get started with this, so whenever we actually have to uh, start with a project, whenever you're allocated to a new project for the first time, then you have to first gain the access to the customer system, gentlemen. We have to get the access to the customer system. For that, we need to take an approval mail from the customer side project manager. The customer side project manager has to give us a mail stating they are approving that particular consultant, that is your name, mentioning your name, saying that they are approving you to work for their project. That is the approval mail that you have to take, and you also have to take what is the company ID of the customer. That is, every customer will be given one unique ID for their project implementation. Say Coca-Cola implementation has one unique ID, PepsiCo implementation has one unique ID, like that. So what is the ID that has been generated by SuccessFactors for them? You have to take that. And the third one, you also should know what is the data center allocated to them. So what is the data center that customer has got awarded, like in which location is their server located, that also has to be taken from the client side manager, these three things. So even our company, the partner company side PMO, will also help us in getting these details. Once you have these three things, approval mail, customer ID, and data center, you have to go to a website called HCM Cloud Operations Portal, the one that you are looking at my screen. Then the point number 3, this is the URL, hcmcloudops.successfactors.com. This is a website where we go and we have to log in with the SUser ID. When you are certified on SuccessFactors, there will be one SUser ID given to you. With that credentials, you have to log in and you have to raise the request to the customer. I mean, you have to raise a request to the backend SuccessFactors, asking them to give the access to the customer system to start working on their implementation. So once you raise a request, within 5 working days, you will be getting a mail mentioning that in 5 business days actually, mentioning that you have got the access to the customer's backend system so that you can start configuring it. So this is the process. So for that, we also have in this HCM Cloud Operations portal, how do you see that screen, how the application form look like and all. There is one document prepared in detail. How do we navigate on that? Let us look into it. Yeah. So this is the one, guys. This is a URL, hcmcloudops.successfactors.com. Once we go into this URL with the SUSE ID credentials that we have, from this, on the first page, on the menu bar, you have something in the name of operation request. Under that, you have to click the very first one called request forms. Once you click on that request forms, a screen appears where in that screen, under the name of BizX provisioning account request, you have to select customer instance access request, the very first one again under this heading. Here the first one and here also the first one called customer instance access request. By selecting this, we'll see an application form called the CAR form, customer instance access request form. This is the application form. So in this screen, we have to fill all the details. We have to fill all these details in the screen, and we have to get the request access. We have to get the access to the backend system of the customer. So what all details that we actually have here is, you can have the name of the customer you have to fill. So whichever customer you are working for, that customer name, the estimated go live date of the project you have to give. Next, you also give the company ID, the one that you have collected from your customer, the ID that has well allocated to them, that company ID, the data center which was given to them. Like as we discussed earlier, we have around 14 data centers across the globe for SuccessFactors servers. So in which data center is there server located? Among that 14, here the drop down will come with 14 data centers. You have to select it, and then you have to maintain the company approver email address, that is the client side manager who has actually given you the approval stating that you can work on their company project. His email ID has to be mentioned here. So this is the 5 initial steps we have to fill about the project related. Next, in the second page, you have to fill the detail like for which module you have to you want to get the access. So you're going to implement for Employee Central or PMGM or recruiting. On which module you are expecting the access of the customer, you have to choose it here, gentlemen. So that is, if you choose Employee Central, you should be certified on it. So whatever module you choose, on that module you have to be certified, and at the bottom you also have to upload that certificate attachment. Whenever you are certified, you'll be given one PDF. So you'll be getting with a PDF stating that you are certified on particular module that you have to upload and submit here. Next, then your name and your email address will be anyways defaulted automatically. And next, the region. In which region is this project implementing? Say whether it is in Middle East or in APAC region or North America, South America, Africa, like that. You can choose in which region. In that region, the location. The location will be the country names. Normally, the locations will be the countries. This drop down will be countries like Saudi Arabia, India, US, Canada, all that. So, in which country is this implementation? You have to choose it. Then you have to upload what is the approval mail that you have taken from your customer side manager. So, the approval mail that you have taken from him, you have to upload, and make sure the email ID that is mentioned in this mail, the customer side project manager email ID, what you have mentioned in this mail, the same thing has to be recorded here in this screen previously, where I have told company approver email address has to be maintained, this email ID and that should match. And then after that approval mail is uploaded, the last one is a certificate also has to be uploaded. So like for which module you are requesting the access, that module related certificate you have to upload here, and then you have to submit it. As soon as you submit, within 5 minutes you will get an acknowledgement mail that the request has been taken, and within 5 working days you will be getting the final mail saying that yes, your provisioning account has been linked with the customer's backend system. And to access that, this is the login URL of provisioning, this is your user ID, and this is your password. Where user ID will be every time the you can use either your SUSER ID or your official company email address to log in into the provisioning. Under that, the password will be a default password what the system will generate. Once you log in into it, you can reset your password. So with the URL ID and password, a mail will be triggered to you, and with those details you can log in into the provisioning system, the backend system, and you can see the customer's configurations, the customer system in the backend. So this is the one, gentlemen, the complete application form, how it actually looks like. And these are the steps that we do. First, take the approval file from the customer, then raise a request, and within 5 business days, you will get the details. Okay. Yeah, Kushangi?
Yeah, so upload certification option is not shown as a mandatory. So isn't it mandatory to get the access to the instant?
The previous screen it is not shown, but it used to stop, but now it is corrected. It's an old screenshot, but now it is the mandatory also showing now.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is the thing. So once within 5 business days, mostly on third day itself, you'll get the mail. In that mail, that URL ID password will be mentioned, and you'll be logging into the provisioning system, gentlemen. So once we log into the provisioning, let me quickly open the provisioning once again. Yeah. So once you log in with those details in the provisioning, so for which customer you have requested the access, in your provisioning login, that customer name will be mentioned like this. And hyperlink of the company name, the company ID will be mentioned. And whenever you got the provisioning access for the first time, every consultant has to make sure some complete SuccessFactors platform specific options before going to their module specific activations, deactivations in the provisioning. The complete SuccessFactors platform specific 4 important things they have to make sure they are enabled. So what are those are? These are the things where step number 1 to 4 are the activations that you have to do, and fifth is creating of one admin ID, and then go on with your individual module specific activities. So here those activities are like, you have to activate the language packs. Say example, your customer is requesting the project to be implemented in 3 different languages, say English, Arabic, and Japanese. If they are having offices in these 3 regions, then they use those languages. In that case, so first thing is you have to make sure in the provisioning you activate those language packs. Second thing is profile V12. As yesterday I've shown you one place where it's called as people profile, where the complete user information will be present, gentlemen, right from the basic information to advanced information. The complete portlets will be mentioned. That is called the profile. And the latest version we activate is as V12. The version V12 profile has to be activated. That is the second part. And then the third one is about the permissioning part. The complete SuccessFactors permissioning will be based on a framework called role-based permissions, RBP. So that is the third one, we have to make sure it is activated. Then the fourth one is the storage size. Basically, say whether it is a company with 5,000 employees or 50,000 employees, based on the number of user count, the volume of data that you store will definitely increase. So irrespective of the employee size, proportionately you'll have definitely the required space with respect to the employee data or master data or the config data, anything. But the limit where you have is with respect to the documents that you upload into the system, the storage space of attachments, documents that you upload. So every customer will be by default having an eligibility up to 1000 GB of space into which they can actually load some documents, attachments, 1000 GB. But that will be initially set to a maximum capping of around, once again, yeah, it will be set to only 1 GB by default. Whenever you get the access, you see it as set to only 1 GB. So it is immediate responsibility of the consultant to make it updated to the highest possible value of 1000 GB kept in that. So even that space, based on the user count of the company, after 2 years or 5 years, at some point of time, that space will be filled. To continue the space, you have to contact the SAP sales. You have to pay the additional cost and buy the space in the cloud. But initially, 1000 GB, we have to keep it updated. That is the fourth point. And then you also have to create a admin ID. Admin ID in the sense, to access the front-end instance system, the first ID you have to create. For provisioning access, you raise a request to the SF team. But for logging into the front-end instance system, the initial user ID what you want to have, you need not ask anyone. Once you get the provisioning access from this provisioning system itself, we can create the admin ID, the front-end user ID. You need not even call it as admin. The front-end user ID you can create. Once all these 5 activities are done, the last one will be the way how you have to start individual module specific activations, deactivations, what all you have to do. You can carry on the last step. So these are the steps that we do on the first week. Say on Monday, if you raise a request, by Wednesday or Thursday, you'll get the access. And on that first week, what are the activations that you handle in the provisioning? And these are common for all the module consultants. It's not particularly for one module consultant. Everyone has to go and make sure these are ready or not. If once any one of the team member has done, it is enough. But it is responsibility of every consultant to cross-check. Like that. So all these things, let us actually look in the SuccessFactors system, not just on a presentation. I'll navigate on the system and also show you how do we do all these things. So in the provisioning system, when you logged in for the first time, select your company name for under which company you want to make the changes or initial settings. Click on the hyperlink. In this page, again select the very first link called company settings. Need not go anywhere. In the initial first day, just click on company settings. And in this screen, you have to do all the initial 4 activations and even the later on module specific activations, which module to be activated, in that module what functionalities to be activated, deactivated, is everything under this company settings itself. I'm again showing the navigation. From the first page, just go into the hyperlink of the company name and here click on the very first link called company settings, and this is the place for initial 4 settings, and also later on each module level activations, everything is through this. So here, according to the presentation that we saw previously, the first thing is you have to activate the language packs. So that is, just search in the name of language packs. Here it is, gentlemen. Language packs. So in this screen, whatever activation you have to do, you have to definitely do a Control F and search. There are hundreds of options over here of complete SuccessFactors suite regarding whatever module related activations are there are in this single screen. So it is hard to scroll. You have to just do a Control F. So in this language packs, what all languages your customer is requesting, you have to activate those checkboxes among the 38 supported languages and you have to save it. This is the first thing. The second one, according to the presentation we saw, is the profile. The profile V12 that I've told, this is the one. You have to make sure this is the second one that has also got activated. The third one is regarding the role-based permissions, gentlemen. One second. This is a bit time taking to find. Yeah, this is the one. The role-based permissions, the complete word. So this is to be activated. Actually, before 2012, when SAP has actually acquired SuccessFactors, the permissioning model used to be something called as administrative domains. So when actually SAP has found that this is not that much robust permissioning model where you cannot give very granular level permissions. To achieve that, they have built up one latest permissioning model called RBP, role-based permissions. So as soon as we activate this, the other one called administrative domains will get deactivated. And now there is no other choice. By default, every system has to go with RBP only. No more support for administrative domains is possible. And the next one is the storage limit that we are discussing. So for storage limit, so this is the one limit. Under document attachment heading, the very first option, attachment storage allocation, which is set to 1 GB, you can get this updated to the highest possible 1000 GB over here. So it is the responsibility of the consultants to make sure you are updating it to the maximum possible default option of 1000. That is the fourth one. Next, we have the fifth one, activate basically. And after that, the fifth one, user ID to access the front-end instance of SuccessFactors. So for that, you have to create your own ID. Here is the area. Say where you can choose your own username, password, first name, last name, email ID you can enter, and on the right hand side you can just credentials. You are actually creating one user with that credentials. You can go to the front end and you can log in into it. Okay. So these are the 5 things we have to do. Next, once the requirement gathering is done, you can each module consultant will do their own activities. So any questions still here, gentlemen? How to get the initial provisioning access, and how to, once you got the access, what are the initial activations that you have to do and all?
Shiva, this is Arun. Yeah, it's almost clear for me, but so the provision actions will be given to all the certified consultants in the project, or it will be given to 1 or 2 persons usually in the project?
No, each and every consultant will be getting it. Each and every consultant should have it.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, it's good.
If there are various consultants, one is for PMGM and one is for succession, so both of them will have to be named on the care form?
Definitely, like you have to, every consultant will take their own request. Okay, see, PMGM consultant will go and raise his request, where succession consultant will separately go and raise a request for his own module. There where the list of modules are being listed, while I as a PMGM consultant, I'll only select PMGM. The next consultant as succession, he'll select only succession. So separate request from each and every module consultant will go to SF.
An additional question on that one. So every module will have a separate provisioning instance? No.
Every consultant will have a separate login into the provisioning, but the provisioning system is the same.
Yeah, but the provisioning system is something that you request using the care form, isn't it? So
yes.
If each consultant is going to separately request for this system,
yes,
then you will have several different provisioning systems.
Provisioning system is the one. Several consultants are having the access to that system. That is the thing we are doing. Customer will have one system, one backend system, one front-end system. Okay. Consultant has to raise, and every consultant should have the access. Okay.
And this consultant going and changing the maximum size to 1000 GB for an organization. So does it not depend on how much space you buy from SuccessFactors in the data center for storage?
According to the initial cost they pay, the 1000 GB is a common value for every customer. Beyond 1000, it is based on the additional cost that you pay.
Okay,
so 1000, it is default.
So by default, it is like 1000 GB.
Yes.
Included in the current cost as such.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hey Shiva, this is Kavita. I have a quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Regarding this admin username, creating admin username, of course, we are creating, this is our own username and password for the instance. So when we logged into instance, that's where we're gonna go ahead and create like, based on the role-based permission, we'll be creating more admin users in the instance. That way we can give the admin access to our client, right? Is that how it works?
Yes. So basically, the initial user what you create from here is not basically an admin. It's just a user which a user got created from provisioning will have a default access to deal with the permissioning part in SuccessFactors instance. Okay. That user will start creating different roles, permissions, and can assign it to different users in the system. So for which user there is given multiple module access, he will become a super admin. If one user ID has got only EC module related access, it is the EC admin. Like that we differentiate. So I'll even show that activity now.
Thank you.
Yeah, 1 second. So let us create one user ID, gentlemen. Say example, let me give it as demos ran 21 something. Password as 12345. Same first name. The last name is something last. And email ID zaran@sap.com something. With these details, I want to create an admin. So whenever you're saving anything on this provisioning, this kind of a pop-up screen appears where you actually have to enter the company ID and you have to confirm. So the company ID is, so this is the company ID of this practice system, and here we just have to click on confirm. So once this is saved, it clearly mentions that admin user demos around 21 was created. So with these credentials, you can log in the front end system. 1 second. Yeah, here you can log in. Just enter the ID and the password as 12345 and you'll log in. This is the very first user for the first time logging into the front end instance of the customer, where whatever password you have given in the backend, definitely whenever they're logging with those credentials into the front end, they can reset their password. This is because whenever normally in the real time it will happen like everyone will not directly start creating their users. In some projects, the project manager or the team lead, one main easy module consultant, he will create the IDs for all the module consultants like PMGM, Succession, RCM and all. Now that actual consultant who has created multiple IDs from provisioning, he knows the password of each and every user. So for that, whenever that module consultant has actually logged in, system will immediately ask you to reset the password. So like this, you can reset the password, entering the current password and the new password. 12345 and the new password is 23456. 23456 and save. So this is a basic user. Here if you see, there's only a couple of things that are available. He's not having all the access. Even once he go to the admin center, he doesn't have permissions. Goal management, performance management, everything says you do not have permission to change the configuration of this module. So it's just a basic user with admin center access. Normally the end users who are directly loaded in the system will not have the admin center access, but this is a access system, a admin account, but the authorizations are not yet finalized. The only functionality, the only authorization that this account will have is to the admin center. Under this, the permissioning level. Even in the permissioning, if you remember in the previous session when I've shown, here there are 4 or 5 options under permissioning, like creating permission groups, permission roles, various things. But to have access to that, here this is a place called manage role-based permission access, so that under this, who all user IDs names are mentioned, only they will get the access to deal with the permissioning in the system. So now this current user is not having the access to deal with the permissioning in the system. To get the access, go into this add your username in this list. So what is the name? Like demo 21, demos are 21. Select this user and grant the permission. Click on I am done. Once granted, click on I am done. And once you log out and log in back into the system, once you log out and log in back, this time when you go to the admin center, go to the, see, by this time, as soon as that access has been given, almost 80% of the access was given. And then under admin center, even now, the config related permissions will not be granted. For getting those granted, come to the set user permissions. Now you have the additional permissioning options, the actual options that you require, through which you can start giving through which you can start creating permissions, assigning permissions, all that is this. So the only admin user will be the person who will have access to this role-based manage role-based access permission. This is the one, the last one. Previously, this is the only one we have. Once you add yourself into this account, you'll have the other options that are present in this. Later on, any users that you are loading in the instance system, for those users also, if you want to give this access, the admin user, this user who has got created from the provision, has to come here, select this third option, and add that additional username also in that list. So that new user also can start working on the permissions like that. So anyone in the company, if they have to work on the permissions, their user has to be entered in this list called the third one, manage role-based permission access. So how do we do that permissioning, all that? Coming up sessions we will see that. But is the initial starting thing is, how do you create a new user from provisioning? With that, when you log in, how it initially appears. If you want to turn it into an admin user, how do you start activating the permissioning part? These are the things. Any questions till here, gentlemen? Fine. So one more thing you have to realize here is that previously I have shown you that we have you are allocated to your first project, you have raised a request, provisioning request, and within 5 days you got the access. That means if your customer is a, say, Indian customer, then if it is an Indian customer, their database, the data center will be in Sydney, Australia. For all the APAC projects, APAC region projects, it will be in Sydney, Australia. So for the Sydney, so that is a data center. For every data center, you have a separate login. That is, this data center number 10, this is one cloud location. Data center number 2, number 5, number 8, like this we have multiple. For every data center access, it is nothing like in Australia, there is one server location. To enter into that server location for retrieving the data, you need some gateway. So that is the login ID password. So there is a URL to enter into it and an ID password to enter into the data center. That is what it was given to you in the first mail that SF has granted you. The URL ID password. And you have been there. So in the first time when you got the access, till now you did not have access to the data center. So they give you the details like the URL ID password. Second time, for the second project when you are allocated, if this time this is also a India customer itself, now when you raise a request, they don't give you again the URL ID password. They directly say that yes, your account has been linked with the customer account. That's it. But now you know where to log in, with what credentials to log in to that same data center number 10. Because it is already given to you for the first time. So with those details, you'll again log in. This time when you log in into the provisioning, you'll find under the company, the previous one company, what you're seeing, you'll see the second company as well. So previously it is Coca-Cola, now it is PepsiCo. One more, British Airlines, Indian Airlines, whatever are the clients, all that names will be listed one by one. This is one way. Second thing, say if the third project now we are allocated, if it is a US customer, then for US, the data center we will be using is number 4 or 5 normally. So the data center of US projects will be DC4 or DC5. So this time for the DC5, the first time you are going to get the access. So now when you raise a request for this, You'll again get a mail stating the URL of BC file, the ID and password separately, like that. So whenever you're working on the projects of multiple data centers, you have to bookmark all those URLs and save the ID and passwords, so that based on the customer's geographical location, the access URLs will differ. Got it, gentlemen? Any questions on this? Yeah, Kavita, go ahead.
You mentioned that, for APAC, it's Sydney,
Yeah.
the data center. So similar to US, is there a particular region?
Yeah, definitely. I'm actually not sure about the region,
Oh, okay.
but the data center number is 4 and 5 commonly.
Oh, okay.
I think in San Francisco there is one data center definitely. In North America they are operating 2 data centers, 4 and 5. One is in San Francisco, the other one I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Kushangi. Sorry, Kushbu.
Is getting the access to data center same like getting the access to provisioning? It's the same thing?
Exactly. So getting the provisioning access is nothing but the data center access. Data center in the sense, because this provisioning account is mapped to the customer which is located in the data center, we call it like that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So this is the way on the day one how you get the access. Once you get the access, what are the initial activations you do, and how do you create an account, and for the first user, how do you log in. And one more thing, whenever I say you have different URLs for the provisioning, the URLs, the way how the URLs look like are, it's almost the same. Now URL that I am currently showing you, gentlemen, it is a demo URL. That is a demo system, the practice systems. Like in SAP, you have the IDES systems for practice. Here we have sales demo systems, we call sales demo systems. So this is, the URL is pmsalesdemo8.successfactors.com. So this is, sorry, this is an instance. Let me show you the provisioning URL. Yeah, here. pmsalesdemo8.successfactors.com/provisioning. Where if it is for data center number 10, it is pmsalesdemo 10.11.12. Like that, it just differs on the number. The remaining URL will be the same, and this is only for the provisioning. If it is for the instance, it will be pmsalesdemo8.successfactors.com. That's it. This /provisioning will not be there. You see the front end instance, it is only till .com. /provisioning is not present. This is all the additional rest of the thing that is auto generated. The main URL is still .com. But in the provisioning, the same URL with /provisioning will be present. That is one thing. And one more thing, the URL that you are currently seeing is a demo system, so it is PM sales demo. But for the client systems, it will be like performancemanager.successfactors.com. That PM will be expanded as performance manager, but the sales demo part will not be present. Performance manager 8.successfactors.com, performance manager 10.successfactors.com, like that. This is the differentiation. The way once you are into the projects, you'll definitely get used to this URLs, not a problem. And say if you are having multiple, you say you are working on the multiple customers of same data center. Then say if it is data center number 8, you are having 2 customers on data center number 8. Then the URL, the common URL that both the customers will be having is till .com. 1 second. Okay. So normally it will be till here. pmsalesdemo8.successfactors.com. This way the URL will be, where it will first ask you to which company you want to enter. In this data center, what is the company that you want to access? So for that, you have to enter the company ID here. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to write in capital letters. Like this. Enter the company ID, the unique ID of the customer, and click on this. Then that particular company's login page will be displayed. In the same data center number 8, multiple company servers are present. So which company's system you want to get connected with? That is this. Say if the same data center number 8, if both Coca-Cola and PepsiCo projects are implemented, first you have to enter the company ID. If you enter Coca-Cola ID, the Coca-Cola login page comes. If you enter PepsiCo ID, the PepsiCo login page comes, like that. So this is a way, and in that you have to give your user ID credentials in that system and you can log in. Okay, so this is the initial activity, gentlemen. So after this, now we have to enter into the config specific options, the configuration. This is the basic things. Yesterday we saw the complete intro about SuccessFactors, and today on the day one, how you have to get the provisioning access, all that. Once all this access is ready, the way how you start configuring the product. What are the different configuration actions? Among this list, the first thing that we'll pick up is the setup of the home page. The one that we saw yesterday. Let me also log in once again. Yeah, this is the home page, where the way how we can customize this, the various tiles that we are having here, the both these square shaped and rectangular shaped tiles what we see here, all that how they are created, how we can manage them, what are the permissions that we can give, all that we'll see in the first topic as a configuration item here. Okay, so before that, there are a couple of questions in the questions area. Let me pick them once. One second. Questions. Yeah. Edgar, yeah. How long is a certification valid once awarded? Yeah. Once you are certified, gentlemen, it is normally a certification is lifetime valid, but with a condition that you are regularly keeping yourself updated. As I've told, we get some quarterly updates on the system. So it might be a small updates. Within 3 months, it will not be huge updates. Every 3 months when they are releasing, small features they'll be updating. So about those updates, what they are giving every 3 months, they'll be releasing some PDF documents. Say 30 pages or 40 pages documents they'll release about the new updates that they have released. And once you have to go through those documents and you have to take a small exam, which will be having minimum 3 questions to maximum 9 questions. That's it. 3 to 9 maximum. You'll have the questions for each module, and you have to just, and those questions are only on those latest updates of the 30-40 pages document, and you have to answer them. The answers you should get 100%. If it is 5, 5 out of 5. If it is 3, 3 out of 3. You have to get. If you answer 2 out of 3 correct, 1 is wrong, yeah, you can retake the exam. You can retake n number of times. You can retake until all the answers are correct. So like that, every 3 months you have to take that update exam called the Delta exam. If you miss any Delta exam, so once a Delta exam has been released, you can take it in 3 months. Within 90 days, you have to just answer that 3 to 9 questions exam. If you miss it, your exam, your certification will be expired. You have to again retake the initial exam. So that is the way how you have to keep your certification every time active. And that exam you have to take it from Learning Hub. There is one website called Learning Hub, in which you will also find a lot of SuccessFactors documentation and all. You have to subscribe that, and in that you can write this quarterly Delta exams. So that is the one, Edgar. And after that, the goal management implementation. Yeah, I'll share it in the blog, training blog, Edgar, the documented. That's it. Fine. Yeah, so coming to this home page, gentlemen, the basic things what we have to understand here is this home page is divided actually into multiple sections: to do, my info, my team, multiple sections. In each section you have these square and rectangular shaped items called as tiles. This rectangular square shaped items we call as tiles. And by default, according to the configuration, we'll have some tiles displayed to every user. Apart from this, on the right hand top corner, you have an option called personalize homepage. Every end user will have this personalized homepage option. Going into this, something called tile catalog opens up. Excuse me. Yeah, something called a page tile catalog opens up here, where in this screen, apart from the tiles which are actually present on the home page currently, there will be many other tiles, gentlemen. So those tiles which are currently being appearing on the home page will be selected like this with a blue color icon. They'll be pinned. And those that are not present on home page but are available in the system that can be activated anytime will be deselected like this. That is for one user. It's not about the organization also. For this current logged in user, which tiles are actively present and which tiles can be later on added will be here. So any tile which is not yet added, if you want to add it, you just have to click on this pin symbol. So that gets added. So the first time when you're adding, it takes time. Similarly, whenever you want to deactivate any tile, if a logged in user thinks that this tile is not relevant to me, I don't want to see it every day, he can click on this and he can get it deactivated as well. So just let us wait for 30 seconds. It will take initially time to activate and deactivate. It's taking a lot of time. Yeah, the message is displayed was removed from the group. Let us scroll down and check again. Yeah, this one is previously not selected. I selected it. Previously, this is selected. I deselected it. From the next time when you want to deselect, select, it will immediately happen. Only for the first time, it takes time. So like this, you can select, deselect. Those which are selected will appear on the front end. Those which are deselected will not appear on the front end for that particular user. Like that. That is a page called tile catalog, where that will be displayed to the user when he clicks on this personalized home page. And this setting, what he activates and deactivates, will be only relevant to this logged in user. By default, company level settings will be done. Later on, what are the additional activations, deactivations this user does are only applicable on his login. That doesn't impact the others login. Okay, yeah, Kavita.
Do we have a limit of the styles, like up to 20 can be added only, or any restrictions on the limit on the number of the tiles that can be added?
No limitation. You can have a number of tiles. But end of the day, definitely the customers will make it feasible. Like it is not loaded with the number of tiles. The more the tiles, the more the loading time. The system will take responsible. The response time will be more. So it is more than around 20-25. We'll keep it on an average.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and yeah. So this is the first page where you see which are by default according to the config available. Rest what the user can activate, deactivate from the tile catalog. Two things. So this is the end user level. What he has the view, and also at the end user level, the tiles what they are present over here, they can drag and drop. Say this give feedback. If you want to move to the last, you can just select it and drag and drop to the last place. Like this, the tiles can be dragged and dropped at the end user level. But a tile of one block, one section cannot be dragged into the other section. It will again go back. You cannot place it here. But here within that, you can move it. The performance can be moved to the last if you require. So the placement can be moved within the section, not into the other section. At the end user level, these are the things that he can do. Moving the tiles or selecting, deselecting the tiles, whatever required, not required, and all. But as an admin, where can we control these things? Who has given these authorizations? Who has decided this style should be in this section? How the style is created? All that we can see in a configuration related page, which is accessible by the consultants, called manage homepage. We have a configuration action in the name of manage homepage. This is the one. manage homepage. If you go here, you'll see the config option. So this is where all the tiles which are by default appearing to the users and the additional tiles which are under tile catalog, all the tiles will be available under this page called manage homepage. It's taking time, guys. Let me refresh. Yeah, so in this page, we have three different tabs, gentlemen. The default tab, tile catalog, and not used. Where default tab displays all the tiles that are by default appearing to each and every user when they log in. And the second called the tile catalog, where under the tile catalog you have those tiles which are active in the system but are not by default present. Based on the end user choice, they can select them. So those are under the tile catalog. And the last one called not used is a category where those tiles which are available in the system, but the customer don't want to give the access to those tiles at all. They are no more using those tiles, can be under no not used. So the standard tiles, whatever provided by SF, cannot be deleted. You can maximum push them to not used. Like that, we have three different categories. So this is the list of tiles with various sections. My info section, these are all the tiles. My team section, these are all the tiles. Like that, you have different sections and different tiles. Similarly, in the tile catalog also. Again, in tile catalog also there are the same sections of the tiles which are currently not directly available on the front end, but the users can choose by going into the personalized homepage option. And those under not used are not at all accessible by the end users. The admin can, whenever the admin again feels that this is something required, they can again push them onto the other pages. That is either under tile catalog or default, they can move them. So how we can move that is against every tile we have this option of move to. Once it is in not used, you have the option to move to the first two, tile catalog or default. If it is under tile catalog, you have the option to move to other two, like default or not used. Similarly at the default. From default, you can move to the second and third. So these are the three different categories of tiles and how we can move them from one category to the other. Now, to discuss about the tiles which are decided to be as the default tiles and the user login, which are under the default list, the admin as a consultant, what we can do is, one thing is to move them between the categories, and the removal by user option. That is, you see, you will be having, one second, let me go to the default tab. Yeah, you will be having a removal by user option. That is, those tiles which are by default, I have shown you that going into that personalized homepage, you can even remove them, right? But if a company decides that a particular couple of tiles should be every time present on the homepage, the user should not have the capability to remove them, then we can switch it off. For every tile, you can have a removal by user option to keep it yes or no. If I keep it to off, that tile cannot be removed by user under tile catalog. By going into that personalized homepage, they cannot deselect it. That is a default tile every time present on the homepage. Like that, we have removed by user or not option. And next, at an admin level, you can decide in the which section a tile should be present. Currently, it is present in my info. If you want to move it to my team or some custom tiles like that, various categories, various sections where we have, if you want to move them into the other sections, you can definitely do that. But at the end user level, they cannot. At the end user level, they can only move by dragging and dropping within a section. But changing the tile placement from one section to the other section is only possible at the admin, backend admin level in this manage homepage through these options. So this my info, my team, news, my specialty are the various sections on the home page. Okay, so this is how all the standard existing tiles can be managed by the consultant at the backend, which are to be active, which are to be under default, like these 3 categories you can choose, under which section you can choose, and which can be removed or not removed you can choose. Next, this is how you manage the standard tiles. But based on the customer requirement, I have shown you yesterday that we can create some custom tiles like displaying some corporate images, corporate video, portfolio videos of the customer. You can have some messages or text displayed, all that. So for that, you can have your like this. You go to the end, you see this tiles. These are the custom sections. So you can add your custom tiles, where clicking on them you can have some media content like videos, photographs, or some plain text, all that can be incorporated. How this custom tiles can be built by the consultants is again under the manage homepage. Under this manage homepage, here on the top we have a toolbar called, where out of this these 2 options are relevant to us. Add a custom tile, edit sections, where clicking on this edit sections, system will display all the existing section names, gentlemen. So all these are the section names. One second, gentlemen. Yeah, sorry. So when you click on this edit sections, all those sections like the my home, my info, my team, news, specialty, all these sections, you have these sections listed here. And if you want to relabel the section names, you can even edit the section names. The order in which the sections are displayed on the home page are the same order in which they are here. If you want my team to be above and my info to be present down, just select this. One second. Select this arrow symbol here, this move option, and drag and drop to the above. Just select this, drag and drop. Something is happening, it's not working. One second. Just now select. Let me cancel. Yeah, my team, I'm moving to the first one. My info came down. My team came up like this. You can move them up and down. Once you save in that order, the sections will be aligned here. So where my info is first, it go to the second, my team will come up. Once I save and refresh this like that. So this is the way. And if you want to add a complete custom section, if you want to add one more additional section, then just come to the bottom. If you just click on the add section button, one more section will be added at the bottom, gentlemen. Here, empty blank space where you can add your text. Just type this name here, and you can save the such that you will get the section with the title what you enter on the home page. This is the way. So in this way, we have multiple sections created. The one that I use is this custom tile section, which is also custom created, and all our custom tiles will be under this custom tiles. Okay. So this is how the sections can be created. Once you have a section, you can also add custom tiles. So add a custom tile, you have this add custom tile option. Clicking on this, the process of creating a custom tile starts, which is a 4-screen wizard. This is a wizard screen with 4 steps, the way how you can create your own custom tile. The first thing that you have to give is to give some backend name, some tile name. For all these tiles we have a name which will appear only in the manage homepage in the background. They don't appear on the front end. So this tile name, whatever you want to have in the background, you can create, like Zaran April 21, something I'm creating. Description is not mandatory. Let's go to the second part. This is interesting. So in this place, you can first choose what kind of a tile you want, whether it is a graphical or static. The difference is that those which are having some background images like this are called graphical tiles. Those which are like this black and white, just an empty background with one small logo and text, are called the static tiles. These are graphical, these are static. So which type you want, you can choose. If it is graphical, coming down, one second, coming down a bit in this pop-up, you have an option to upload a background image. Here a background image can be uploaded. You can just browse through the images from your laptop, whatever the images that you have. You can just browse and select any image. That will be immediately previewed over here. It will be loaded. One second, tile preview level. Yeah, like this, whatever is the image that you are loading, it will be previewed over here. So this is if you choose the background, the graphical option. If you choose static option, now it's not placed for graphical, it's not placed for images. Now if you come down here, you don't find a background image option, you find the icon option. So there are standard SuccessFactors set of around 500 icons, where among these icons, so whatever is the data that you want to represent through this tile, some relevant icon you can select. So whatever icon selected, the preview of that will be coming up here like this. So every static tile will just have one icon and a name, where graphical one will have the background image and names. So let us go with graphical. In this graphical, you have to give the tile, the title of the tile. The previous one you have given is the name, which will appear only in the home page. Sorry, only in the background config place. But for the end users, what will actually appear is this one. Enter this one, these two lines, main title and subtitle, two things you can add that are here. The title, sorry, yeah, title and subtitle. Where title I can give it as main title. Next one is just subtitle. Whatever you want to give, you can give. Immediately it will be previewed on the right hand side. So this is how you create a custom tile with that might be a graphical or static option with some text displayed over it. And next, you can choose whether it should be a square shaped or rectangular shaped. The only two sizes you have are either a square size or a rectangular size, gentlemen. So here I have 1 by 1 represents a square and 1 by 2 represents a rectangle. And these options are only applicable if we go with a graphical option. If you are going with the static option, by default it is only square. You cannot have rectangular option and static option. In static type, it is only square by default, like that. So these are the categories. And at last, one more thing that you can choose is the active dates. So you can choose when should this tile be appearing to the end users. You can say active always, that is 365 days around the clock, years together it can be available, or some tile based on occasion, based on some particular event or particular time of the year. If you want to display it only for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, you can give the date range here. Okay, so like this we can have separately we can have this date format, sorry, the date range for each and every tile, so that 10 tiles can be throughout the life present, 5 tiles can be only available in January, 2 tiles can be available only in February, based on the organizational requirement. The date ranges can be given. Okay, one second. So this is the second tab among the 4-step process. This is the second step where you have to design, where you have to choose whether it is statical or graphical. In graphical, the image, or in static, the icon you have to select, give the titles, choose whether it is square or rectangle, and finally give the dates. This is your UI part. Next, go to the third tab, where this is an important tab where you actually decide what is the content to be displayed and how it should be displayed. So when I click on the rectangular square shade items, what should happen? So the content, what should be displayed, whether it should be displayed in a pop-up screen, like the way we are seeing. When I click on it, a pop-up is coming with a video. So like that, a pop-up should be appearing, or a URL. Clicking on that, you can not only display a video here. If it is a YouTube video, you can directly make the system redirect to the YouTube page. So that is the second option, either a pop-up or a URL. The two options you can use. And the third option is no target. That is, system will not at all behave anything. It will not respond. Clicking on the tile will not have any action. That is, if you just want to display the customer logo or some images at any point, you can use that without any activity on that. Like this, 3 different options. And after these 3, you have the width. Width is the size of the pop-up, whether it should be small size, medium size, large size. You have 3 different sizes, small, large, medium, you can choose. That is, when I right click on this, the pop-up size. This is the pop-up that is coming is small. If I choose medium, it will be a bit bigger. If I choose large, it will be more bigger. Like that. 3 different sizes of the pop-ups. And next is the template, gentlemen. So basically, template is the one which decides actually the content what should be displayed in that pop-up will be decided here, the main content area. Where in which format, how should that content be aligned within that pop-up screen, you have different templates. So like the first one, you have a top area for some banner kind of an image, and at the bottom you can have the text. So here it is a place for the image to upload, and here it is the text. Where by default the title, subtitle, and the body text here, something default text is entered, you can backspace and enter whatever you want. This is the first template. In the second template also you have the banner image. Here the text, and the text area divided into the bullet points area as well, like this, where not only SF to be given, you can also definitely align it. It's just kind of a Word document. You have all the word formatting options on the top. Like you can have some bullet points, you can have the text colors, the background colors of the text, all this applicable. Text color and background color. You can have right align, left align, the formats, heading format, like but bold, italic, all these different things. You can also have an option for, one second. Yeah, clicking on this option over here, insert media, you can upload some video. Sorry, it's not upload, you can maintain some video. Similarly, you can also upload, you maintain some images. That is, here you have the other option, insert image. Clicking on this, here also you can maintain an image. Why not upload? Why I'm using word maintain is, we are not going to upload the actual video, or we are not going to upload the actual image. We have to upload it somewhere else, and the URL of that place where we have actually uploaded it, we have to place it over here. So the home page doesn't accept the files to be directly added to this place. We have to load it somewhere else, and that link of the URL of that video where you upload it, or the image where you upload it, bring it and paste it here. You have to host that file somewhere else, and that file you have, that URL you have to paste it here. That is like, so just going into this pop-up, here you have a source where you have to just mention the URL. That's it, nothing to do. Paste the URL, click on OK, that video will be incorporated. Where this is the template, 2 templates, where we normally 90% we go with the third template, where it is no template. The complete area is open for us. We can decide what to have, where to have. So example, I enter it as welcome to Zarantech. Some hello text like this, and this text, if I want, I can change it to an URL, a hyperlink. Clicking on this hyperlink, I can add some URL, like the website of Zarantech. I can add it here. So it turned into an URL. Or this hello, if you want to turn it a bold, you can do bold, a word formatting, text, all these options. And if you want to incorporate a video over here under this place, I want to incorporate it. What I am going to do here is, first I go to the YouTube, I'll find some video text, video URL, and I'll paste it here. Let me quickly take some video URL, gentlemen. One second. Okay, so I just took a video URL, where now here, if I want to have it under hello, just go to this media item. Into the source, just place the URL of the YouTube video and click on OK. Immediately that video will be previewed here like this. So this is one of our Zarantech recording video in YouTube. This is the preview like this. So once you save this, okay, not save. So after this, you can go to the last one called assignments. In this, you can choose under which section you want this tile to be present. You can also add a section under the existing standard sections, or any custom section that you have created. In that also you can add. There is no such restriction that custom tiles to be added only in custom section. Also the standard tiles accept the custom section. Also the standard sections accept the custom tiles. But I want to choose the custom one, and I can also choose the target population who can see that, gentleman. It's not that every tile should be appearing to everyone. I can have a company can ask me that I want a tile which is only to be seen by Indian employees, or only by IT department employees, or particularly by your Chicago location employees, like that. In that case, you can create groups of users. Different employee groups can be created. Only to that target groups you can assign. By default, you have an all employees group like this, but there are various other groups as well that are created in the system, like London employees. Some different groups people have created, where for creating a group you just have to click on this add button. See, as when I click on this add button, you have an interface to create a group. That is, just type a group name here. Say if you want to take the US employees, say US employees, where you need not individually add all the US employees into the group. Here you have a category, a filter. In this, just choose the country at the top here as country filter as United States. United States. Click on done. So the filter is United States. Now in this current company, how many employees are hired against US as the country? All of them will be a part of this group. Just click on update button here under group membership. System says there are 136 US employees in this company. If you click on this 136, it will also show you the list of those 136 users. Their first name, middle name, last name, their location, all these details. Now for these all US employees, if you want to assign this group, click on done. Now search for your newly created group US employees here. This is the one. US employees you have created, 136 employees, it will appear. If there are thousands of users also, only for that 136 it will appear that time. For rest it will not appear. Like that you can control the access. In this way you can do it in these 4 steps. Give that name which is only appear in the backend. The title where you can choose the UI options, whether it is graphical, static, the title, subtitle, size, all this. Next, the third one, navigation, whether it is to be displayed in a pop-up or a URL or no target, and medium, large, small, that width, the template design, and all this. Finally, in the last one, the place in which section it should be displayed, for which employees it should be displayed, and finish it. So once you finish this gentlemen, do not forget, just go and cross check. So you've added under my tiles, those are custom tiles. Go to the custom tile section. Yeah, here it is. Make sure whether it is added or not. So it is Zaran April 21. Yes, it is added. Now at the end, go and click the save. If you do not save this, it is lost. Make sure at the end you are saving it. Once it is saved, go to the home page. Sorry, I just kept it only for US employees. Let me change the filter to all employees, because my user ID is not a user ID and not a US user ID. Changing it to all employees and finish. And now at the end, going to the bottom, I am saving it. Now if I refresh the home page, gentlemen, I can see this. In this home page, go to the custom tiles area, and here the last one that we created today. Clicking on this, it will open the pop-up what we have created. Is this the one that we added or this one? One second. We started this one, right? What happened? One second, let me cross check. What happened? Why the text? Why is the content lost here? Something happened, guys. Sorry. Let me reconstruct it once more. Just like change it to an hyperlink. Zarantech.com. Next line something hello I added with some bold, and in the next line I'm adding the video. Here is the URL of the video, and okay. The preview of that immediately comes, and the last one, let me finish it. Just finished. At the bottom, I'm going to save it. So going to the home page and I refresh and check it. There's the one last one. Now we have this. Welcome to Zarantech. Clicking on the Zarantech hyperlink, it will go and open the Zarantech.com link. This is the one. It's taking time to load, and we can have the video preview. So this is one of our previous batch session that was recorded as a sample in YouTube. This is the video of it, like that. So you can have this content customized. This is the Zarantech.com open. So this is a way how we can deal with the custom tiles, custom sections on the home page, and how you can manage the complete home page over here, gentlemen. Okay. So let me answer some questions over here. Edgar, when you created US employee group, when new employees join the US, does they automatically? Yes. So that is a dynamic group, gentlemen. When I've previously created a group in the name of US employees as the filter, today if there are 100 employees, okay. Tomorrow after creation of a group, if 5 more employees have been hired on the country of US, automatically they'll be part of this group and they'll also see those tiles. It's a dynamic assignment. Next. Adding images to the custom tiles. So whenever the way how we saw now, we have loaded this video in YouTube and we are taking the link of it. Similarly, you can upload it in your Google Drive, or you can upload it in SharePoint server or SuccessFactors server. SuccessFactors will have some space in the background for you. For every customer, you can give that video or image to the SuccessFactors backend team, ask them to upload in the SF server and give us the link. That link we can paste it here. The same approach for both videos and images. We can load it anywhere and just that link you have to mention it. Next. Can certain tiles be given only to managers? Does the information come only from SF or can the information come from on-premise HCM? So Edgar, for your first part of the question, can it be given only to managers? Yes, it is possible. Through role-based permissions we can handle. Some tiles we can restrict that these are only to managers, these are only to HRs, like that. I will show that. The second part of your question, data coming from only SF or on-premise HCM, I'm not sure. What do you mean by that, Edgar?
Yeah, what I actually mean is you have various different tiles in the catalog, like sickness and I was just wondering if you can or time off and things like that. And if you want the manager to know who all are present on a particular day or how many days of leave have they got left, can they actually look at it as using this tiles as a dashboard? Can that information be derived from maybe on-premise HCM?
Yeah, even if it has to be derived from HCM, end of the day, the data what is present in SF can be represented on the home page. So whether it is got derived from SAP HCM or not, it's an integration part. So directly from HCM, system cannot retrieve and bring on home page. It should be first have a mechanism to get it integrated to SF from HCM. From in that HCM on SF data, we can do the tiles created. Okay. The next part.
Is there a place where you can bring such data and save so that you can utilize it within?
It's basically about the integration. Everything in SAP HCM, it can be, if you are having a counterpart in SF, you can bring it. Say divisions, departments, locations, time data, payroll data, everything you have a counterpart in SF and you can get that integrated definitely.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Is there a character limit for the section names and also the tile names? Yeah, definitely any name fields, gentlemen, with a single input fields kind of will maximum take 100 to 128 characters. The minimum take 100, maximum 128. So any character field limit will be that much. Okay. So these are the questions. Any more questions on this home page level? Afshan, any question?
Yeah,
Saw your raised
Shiva.
hand previously.
So yeah, so I just want to know, like, how do you further divide the groupings? Like you showed us, like we can create a group depending on the company. So then based on the company, like US, UK, or Canada, then again we have different business groups. So then
The one that I have created is on a country, not a company, country. I created as a US country. Under
yeah.
US, particularly US Chicago location or US IT department, like that if you want, you can have additional filters as well. In the coming up sessions, I'll even show that.
Okay, thank you.
We actually have one topic called permission groups, permission roles. In that location, I'll show you how to make use of that groups mechanism.
Okay, so based on business groups, then we can further divide it, and then based on business groups, again, if you want to differentiate like between just executive employees and then
Definitely.
so we can
Various
do that.
filters.
Okay.
We can have various categories of filtering.
Okay, that's called filters. So I thought
Yes.
maybe we need to add more groups. So okay.
Within a group, you can maintain different filters actually.
Filters. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. 1 second. Yeah, so this is the way how we deal with the home page maintenance guys, the complete home page part. The next thing what we shall look into is the password and login policy settings. So we have logged into the SuccessFactors system actually with ID, entering an ID and password. For every organization, they'll definitely have some password policies, like it should be minimum these many characters. Within every 30 days or 90 days, user should reset their password. The length of the password, the characters allowed in the password, numericals allowed in the password, like this varies. Whereas in the previous SAP HCM projects, it used to be the role of the basis team. The basis consultants used to handle those activities. But now we don't have any basis role in the project at all. Now it is the individual module consultant itself should deal with all these. So every module consultant should be aware of these password related policies. So that is also easy thing. Just start typing on the top search page over here the name of just keyword as password. Immediately you'll have an option called password and login policy settings. Going into this password and login policy settings, you have a page. It's very easy to understand, where you have the minimum length of the password, you can enter some value. The maximum length of the password, you can have a value. The minimum age and maximum age of the password, where a minimum age says if you give minimum age as 7 days, once the user has set his password, he should not change the password till at least 7 days. If I give maximum age as 90 days, even if the user did not forget his password, after 90 days, definitely he has to change his password. Whenever he logged in after 90 days, the system will immediately ask you to change the password. Like that, you can have minimum age, maximum age of the passwords. If this age concept, if your customer doesn't want to use, they can just maintain some negative value here, like -1. Normally we go with -1. So if you go with some negative value, that functionality will not be triggered in the system. Like that. Yeah, sure.
No, I'm fine. So I think that was from previous question.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, in case, see, there's one thing I think the consultant will have to remember. If you are having a kind of a single sign-on from your on-premise HCM, and you go and make changes here that the person has to change the password, then it might cause a little bit of a problem, because
Definitely. In case of single sign-on, accordingly we have to take care that this is not in effect. We will keep it to -1.
-1 and -1, yeah, correct. And also not introduce a kind of a password policy where your strong password policy should be similar to the one that you have on the other side as well. Or rather, you don't have any policy here because you're not going to log in into SuccessFactors separately, but via
So
the
obviously,
single.
so hope everyone are aware of what actually Edgar is speaking. He's saying about the single sign-on. So we all have the single sign-on experience. Entering into one system without having the credentials, entering into every system, we can directly, with those credentials, log into the other systems. So when we have that in effect, the root system, what is having the password, the same password policy should also affect on the SuccessFactors system. So that is obviously we have to take care. But if it is directly the SuccessFactors login that the customers use, then this is the password login policy settings. We have to make sure. Okay. And yes, after these first 4 options, the next thing we have is maximum successive failed login attempts schedule. That is, if a user enters his password continuously wrong for say 5 times, you can have it locked. The user account can be locked. If I enter a value of 5, if 5 times if he enters the password wrong, this is then like it's a kind of someone is trying to hack his account or kind of, then we can reset his password. Now we can lock his account immediately, such that no one can access his account. Again, he has to approach the admin and the admin has to reset the account. This is one way. Next, you can have the case sensitive, whether you want the password should be case sensitive, like capital letters should be entered every time capital, small letters as every time capital, every time small, you can choose it. Next, whether you want mixed case, both capital and small required in your password, whether it is alpha characters required in your password or not, non-alpha characters required or not, numeric characters required or not, special characters, like this for each and everything, alphabetic, numeric, non-alphabetic, special characters, numbers, all this. You can have an individual checkbox. Same time, there is one more good functionality, like you can restrict your users from having their first name, last name, or username as a part of their password. Say this, if you select these three checkboxes, when the user is creating his password, if the system finds that in the password the user is entering his first name or last name or username, it will not allow him to save that password. That is one. And one more interesting is enable password history policy. This says system can enter, you can enter a value between 2 to 10. If I enter 5, system will check my last 5 passwords every time. Whenever I'm setting my new password, it will check with my last 5 passwords in that database it will maintain, and if it is matching any of my last 5 passwords, it will not allow me to set it. It says it is the recent passwords, so you cannot reuse it now itself. You have to wait for few more turns. Like normally organizations go with a value of 3 here. The last 3 passwords cannot be set. The max possible value system can validate is last 10 passwords. You can enter between 2 to 10 only, like this. So basically, these are the things that what capabilities that SF password management has, you should be aware of. It's not a big config thing, but you should be aware of, because now there is no choice that you cannot say that my basis consultant will get in touch with you. As on spot, when the customer comes up with this discussion, you have to answer it immediately. So you should be aware of what are functionalities you have in your SF supported. So these are all the normal technical characteristics of the password. The length, age, characters, mixed characters, all that. Something else is enable forgot password feature. That is, like, gentlemen, one second. Whenever we are opening the SuccessFactors login page, you will have this forgot username or forgot password icons. So using these buttons, you can, the end user, whenever they forgot their password, they can directly reset their password by themselves. This is one way of the option. So whether your organization wants to give this functionality or they have to every time approach the admin and admin has to reset the password, you have to decide. If admin has to decide, admin has to give it, you don't have this icon over here. Whenever you forgot the password, you have to, admin has to support you. But if this functionality has been given to the end users itself directly, then you have to activate this enable forgot password feature so that the users can start resetting. For that process, they again have 3 different approaches. 1, 2, 3 radio buttons. The way how the reset password feature should work. The first one says reset the password using a URL that you received through email. Whenever you click on forgot password button, it will ask you a user ID and you click on forgot button. Then immediately to the email ID that is associated with that user ID, a mail will be sent giving with a URL. Clicking on that URL, you will go to your password reset page where you can enter your new password, confirm password. This is the normal approach that you see in any Facebook, LinkedIn, various sites. Apart from this, you have one more approach. Let us see the third approach. Here you involve the security question. That is, reset the password using security questions accessed through the system. That is, whenever you click on reset, here the mail will not come, but it will ask some security questions on the screen. If you properly answer those answers exactly as the user has saved previously in the system, then the user can reset their password. Whereas the second option is a combination of one. That is, a mail will be sent. In the mail, a URL will be sent. Clicking on that URL, it is not directly the password reset page. Again, there the security questions will come. There you have to answer the questions. If you answer the question, first one is only email, last one is only security questions, second one is questions through email. all the three different options you have. In the second and third, security questions is a common thing. So if you want to have the security questions, as soon as you choose second or third option, you get this hyperlink called manage security questions. Pop-ups. Yeah, a pop-up by default offers that can be commonly used in any organization for this security questions functionality. So among these 10 questions, which questions you want to have in your organization, you can select those checkboxes. All that will be available for the end users. Apart from these questions, if you want to have additional custom questions, customer requirement, at the bottom you have personalized security questions where you have an add new option. As an admin, you can add few more not in the list. These 10, if all are enabled, all will be enabled on the front end. Okay, so when we have all these 12 questions, you can at the top also choose whether how many questions should be actually the user should be answering, whether minimum 3 questions or 4 questions or 5 questions he should correctly answer. How many you can choose it over here. If I choose 3, minimum 3 questions he has to answer correctly, then only the system will allow him to reset his password. Like that, you can keep a condition from minimum 1 to maximum 5. All this. These are all standard questions and a place. This is applicable both for option number 2 and 3. Even when you choose option 3 also, you get this manage security questions link. The same pop-up opens over here as well. On this gentleman, on the password login policy settings page. Yeah, Edgar?
Which of the 3 is generally used?
Company differs. It's not thing. It's up to the company. We introduce them all the 3, whatever they want.
Okay, because I believe if you use the first one, enable password, forget password, and you send them an URL, it is an easy thing to implement. Because the others, where you have security questions, you will have to ask your users to register for it by, at some point before they use that feature to enter all this information.
Yeah, actually, if we enable second or third option, whenever the user is for the very first time logging in SuccessFactors, immediately a pop-up comes to store his security questions. He cannot escape until and unless he stores the security questions. He cannot access the system. The pop-up doesn't delete.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So this is all with respect to the password and login policy settings, gentlemen. The next one more topic that we can look into today is the email settings in the SuccessFactors system. One second. Yeah. Here, if you just click on, just start typing as email, you get something here in the name of email notification template settings. That is, whenever the email should be triggered in the SuccessFactors system, for which modules, for which events, for which causes it should be triggered, all that is not in our control actually. In SuccessFactors system, all the emails are system controlled. That is, what all emails you should have in a system are all in this page, email notification template settings. So the one that we are seeing on the list on the left hand side is the list of emails that will be triggering in SF. Across the modules, there are around 150 plus email templates here. 150 plus email templates that are listed on the left hand side, which belong to multiple modules: PMGM, goal management, recruitment management, EC workflows, everything. So let us see. All those that are starting here with the name called document, all these refer to the PMGM, gentlemen, basically. Next, 360 is all about 360 performance forms, the 360-degree evaluation. Next, the goal management level, like when a goal is created, when a goal is deleted, when a goal is modified, like that. And then going down, you have somewhere related to the recruiting as well. Yeah, here. The external candidate, internal candidate, new recruiting, recruiting interview notification, like this, some related to recruiting management. Only 5 or 6 are present here, but actually recruiting management allows hundreds of emails, where apart from this place, recruiting is one module that has a separate place where you can separately create your email templates for that module. No other module will accept has a functionality of creating custom emails, but recruiting management will allow you to create custom email templates. So after that, coming down, the workflows, easy workflow related email templates. All these are the workflow templates of easy. And the workflow got created, when it is approved, when it is rejected, and the workflow got cancelled. For every case, you have the email templates. Yeah, Kushangi, go ahead.
Hi. So, Shiva, the content of this email is given by the customer, right? Which we will feed
Yes.
in.
No, actually, by default, every email template will have a text.
Okay.
You see here on the right hand side, this is the email text body. If a
Okay.
customer
Okay.
wants to modify it, they can modify it. 150 templates, they providing text is not possible. The
So they
system will have a
themselves
standard
can.
text.
So they themselves can go and modify it.
Definitely. But at the implementation time, they approach us, we make the changes. Once we are out of the project, once the system has no more consultants, then the end users can also deal with it. No problem.
But the employees cannot modify it, right? The person
Yeah,
from
that's
the
right.
customer's
Admin. Admin,
correct, the
admins only
admin.
can know.
Got it. Okay. So who are these admin? Are they the real HR people, like who manages all these processes on the ground?
Yeah, the core HR users, like in every company, most of the time it will be the HR team that will be given this admin access.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So once the end of the project, we'll take some admin training sessions in which all the HR team will be sitting. So what all the things apart from configuration to run and maintain the system, what all things that they should be aware of, we'll uh, teach them all these things in the admin training.
Sure.
So here for all these templates, everyone, you just click on any of the template. Say document creation notification, we have here one thing. If you select this hyperlink, document creation notification, on the right hand side, the document creation notification related preview will come. So this is the text. This is the text of the document creation notification. So whenever a performance form has been launched, the text what it will be triggered is this. This is a text where some static text is also there. Some dynamic variables are also here. Where these dynamic things change from user to user. Say for employee X, the form has been launched, the employee X name will be present here. If it is for employee Y name, like that, the text will be dynamically changed based on for which employee the form is being launched and all. And we have not only the option to change the text here, we have a few more options, like you can set whether a mail is, if you want to show it as a high priority mail indicator, you can select this checkbox, high priority indicator checkbox, or else this custom settings for form templates. Customize settings for form templates. Clicking on this, you have a lot of options internally. Let me show you one more thing before going into this. One second. Yeah. Against each and every template, you have the checkboxes over here, gentlemen. Checkboxes, which say whether the particular email template has to trigger a mail or not. We have an authorization of controlling whether the emails can be triggered or not. Where it has to be triggered, SF has already kept the place. In that place, whether it should be triggered or not, the customer can choose it. That is like all these templates. Now, this is for whenever a performance form is launched, whether that has to be triggered or not. So if I deselect this, no mails will be triggered whenever there are some performance forms are launched in the system. But if I activate this, the system will start triggering the mails. But one more thing is that Going into this customized settings for form templates, there are multiple templates actually. When I say performance, when I say templates, it is not only 2018 performance template. There is 2017, 2016, 2015. For every year, there will be a performance form. There for every module. In the compensation, there are some templates. In recruitment, there are some templates. In performance, there are templates like that. All that module templates will be listed here. So this is 2011 compensation, 12 compensation, 12 performance, 13 compensation. Like this, individual templates are there. Removing a checkbox here, deselecting this will stop the emails to trigger for all the templates. But if your requirement is only for particular template, you don't want to trigger an email, then instead of deselecting it from the outside, come into this pop-up, and here against each template you have this enable checkbox. So which template you don't want the email to be triggered, just deselect that. Like this, you have multiple templates, just deselect against that template. Then whenever a form has been launched into the employee, that email will not be triggered. That is one thing. The next thing is, for based on every template, whenever we have some workflow, say example performance template we have launched, then it has a workflow. First, employee has to give his ratings. Next, the manager has to give some ratings. Next, HR will review it. HOD will review it. Like that, we have a workflow. Whenever the form is moving from one employee to the other employee inbox, automatically the person who actually is the owner of that step will receive an email saying that the current performance form of this employee is in your folder. Your approval is required, or your ratings are required. Like that, some mail will be triggered. So whoever has received the form, automatically he will get an email. Apart from that intentional user who actually has to get the email, the additional users also have to be notified. Say if an organization has a practice that every time whenever an employee of a manager is getting an email, if his manager should be also notified about that, then it is a CC copy will be sent. Here you can choose the additional recipients. If you choose manager, manager will get a CC copy in every mail of that employee. Like that. Not only a manager, you can keep HR as well, or both as well. Just pressing the control key on your keyboard. If you select multiple, multiple will be selected. If you don't select the control key, one among them will be selected. If one is selected, other will be deselected. Like that. So this is how the additional recipients can be chosen. How it actually functions is, normally first step if the employee has to get a mail, manager will also be copied in it. If manager actually is the person who has to receive the mail, only one mail he will get. And then the third step, if HR has to get a mail, HR will get it, also manager will be copied in it. Like that. In every step of the workflow, manager will be copied. But the problem here is, say if HR has been chosen as the additional recipient, if a process is of 4-step workflow, in every step of an employee, the HR will get a CC copy. That is 4 mails. If he is the HR of say 500 employees in a location, 500 into 4, 2000 mails he'll get, which is huge, and his email box will be filled up with 2000 mails. So to avoid that, we have a consolidate and interval option. Using this, if you click on consolidate, you have to choose what is the interval time. If I choose as 4 hours, then every 4 hours, the similar mails, say example, there is a mail called this employee's form has been sent to second step, this employee's form has been sent to second step, like that, with the same text for different emails, with different employees' mails are triggered. Combining all that, consolidating all that, one email will be triggered saying that for the list of all the below users, the form has been sent from first step to the second step, and the list of users are XYZ. In the body of the mail it will be mentioned. A single mail will be triggered. So that will happen in the every 4 hours. If you choose 8 hours, in last 8 hours, how many mails? If you choose 24, once in a day it will be coming up. So this is a consolidated interval option. Like this, the email templates have those options. You can choose what is the text of each and every email template, whether that should be triggered or not, not. If it is to be triggered or at particular places and not triggered in other places, in the pop-up you can select whether it is to be triggered or not, the additional recipients and their consolidating option. All this we have in the SuccessFactors email template options then. And every time make sure you do not forget to click on save notification settings at the bottom of the screen. What do you say? Forgetting this, so all the changes that you have done are lost. So do not forget to save this at the bottom. Accordingly, the emails will be behaving. So this is all about the email notification template settings topic. So let me take some questions. Yeah, Edgar.
Consolidated interval. If you do it at 24 hours once a day, will you get one email for any number of employees whose workflow moves during that day? Just
Yes,
one
exactly.
for different employees.
Yes, only one mail saying that this for all these employees in the body, the workflow has been progressed from this step to that step.
Okay.
In the body of the mail, the names of the employees will be listed.
Okay. My second question is with regards to what is being seen on the right side of the screen, where you have 2011 compensation and equity.
Okay.
If you don't want any past years to be seen, or say for example you launch 2018 2019 form, will that automatically an email be sent out for 2018 19 even though this shows as 2011?
Yeah, if you see the one more line on the top, specify different template for each item. If this is selected, you can have a different email text for each and every template. For 11, 12, 13, 14, you can select a different text for each and every year. If I deselect this, for all the templates, a common text will be sent. You cannot even select this. This is deselectable, and this is not selectable. The common text will be applicable for all the forms. That is how it behaves.
Okay. And if you don't want to send, if in your organization you have not, you're not going to select the email option, or it has been not working at this point, and you want to start it all over again, and I want emails option to go only for the current.
That is not at all possible. Only when that particular event is being happening in the system, the email will be triggered. Later on, if you want to separately initiate the email process, that will not happen. If previously at that moment, if you don't activate, later on if you want to activate, from then what are the emails that should be triggered, they will trigger. The old emails cannot be triggered again.
Okay.
Like SAP, like in SAP we have that some transaction is, I'm not sure, some email related transaction, I forgot it. So there the past
SOST.
Yeah, SOST. From there you can even trigger the past emails which are not yet executed out of the system. But here you don't have such kind of email monitor at all.
Okay. And who does the email go out from? When an email is sent to the user, or the 4 people that you mentioned, who does it go out from? Does it go out from?
So basically, say step 1, from step 1 it is going to the step 2. In the first step it is employee. In the step 2, whoever is receiving the mail, the manager, the to ID will be, the from ID will be employee. Okay, the first step is employee and the second step is manager. Then in the first step, when employee is submitted, when the second user, the manager, is receiving a mail, in the mail the from will be mentioned as the employee ID. Next, from a manager, when it is going to HR in the third step, the from ID will be maintained as the manager ID, like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I've got a question for you on this one, because most of our employees who have been brought in from HCM into SuccessFactors have email address as HR. By default, that particular email address has got created. Is there a way in which this can be corrected?
Yeah, basically now the one that I've told is in case of workflow emails, but there are some event emails, particularly when some data has been changed, they will get a notification mail that this data has been changed, like that. In that cases, it is not from particular user, it can be some system mails that will be triggered. In that case, the from ID will be like some system. Normally by default it will be system@successfactors.com. where that can be updated to the different text. That is, in the coming up session, I'll be showing you one user list of file. If you see this current file on my screen, this is a list of users in the SuccessFactors system, where in this file you will be having one user in the name of V4 admin, some standard SuccessFactors user who will be inactive in the system. This user, whoever is V4 admin, for this user some first name, last name will be maintained, and the email ID will be maintained, all this. So this is a system message. If you see here, system message at successfactors.com.
Okay.
So here, whatever is the text you maintain, that will be coming in your emails. So in your company, they might maintain it as first name as HR, second name as admin. So HR admin is coming. If they want to update it, come here and change the first name, last name, or even the email. If you want to change, you can change. Whatever is present against this user, that will be coming in the communication mails.
Okay. One question relating to this thing that I can see on the screen called no manager. If you have no manager, that means how will that work in the organizational chart? If you want to go up a level,
he'll not be present in the org chart at all. That users who doesn't have manager and HR are not represented in the org chart at all.
Okay, that is why they are showing as no manager.
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Any more questions, gentlemen?
Shiva, just to confirm, this triggering points will not be changed, right? It is a system generated triggering points.
Exactly. It's not like SAP workflows. In SAP workflows, we can choose the triggering points, but here it is standard system decided from the framework.
Fine. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah. So Arun, you are with some technical background, right?
Yes.
Okay, got it. Fine. And let me check if any questions. Yeah, the message keys that I see in the email notification template, where do I get that list from? Yeah, in the standard SuccessFactors documentation, we'll be finding that list of message keys, gentlemen. In the email, we have this dynamic tokens. If you see here, so signature, the document title, the sender from whom the mail is coming, that sender like this, which will be dynamically populated based on for whom the email is being triggered. So that list, what are the available list of tokens, will be available in one standard SuccessFactors document. I'll try to bring the document and share it with you guys. So it is a standard set of list. You cannot have additional list, and predefined around 20 to 30 variables are only supported. I'll share the document with you guys. One second. Where can user employees upload their snaps? You mean the photograph, Edgar? You mean to?
Yes. Because at the moment our organizational chart, as I was mentioning yesterday, is not showing anything. So
we'll see that in the coming up session. Actually, I'll come to that point. Next, actually, initially in the implementation time, the admins will do it. The consultants will load bulk all the users' photographs. Later on, at every user level, they can upload, they can change their own photograph.
Oh, they can do that themselves.
Yeah, and we can even restrict. If the company says that no, they should not be changing, we can restrict that as well.
And that is also done in the admin side of things rather than on the provisioning.
Yeah, it's on the front end itself. I'll show that.
Thank you.
And next, when user created US employee group and automatically we saw this. Yeah. So all the questions on the question area are clear, gentlemen. Any questions from the participants directly?
What's a matrix manager?
Matrix, yeah. So apart from the normal direct hardline manager, some organizations will have this dotted manager. So that dotted managing relationship will be the matrix manager. Say example, every time throughout your term in the company, you will be having one reporting manager. Apart from that, whenever you are particularly in one project, you'll be also reporting to that project manager. Whenever you're changing the project, your project manager changes, but your hardline manager will be constant throughout your term. So the normal manager and the additional project manager to whom you report is a dotted manager. That is a matrix. Yes, Sucharita, Krishanji, Afshan, any more questions, gentlemen? Khushbu?
Not now, Shiva. But the one thing is about the access. If we want to practice and all, when will we get access to the tool and
Yeah.
we can...
So all the participants who have actually registered from their commercials part with the backend team were done. So I'll be getting those list of participants by tomorrow or day after tomorrow. And once I get the list of those participants who have officially registered, by paying the fee and all, I'll be sharing the access. So max within 2 days, you can expect the access from me. Okay.
And how will we be notified by email?
Yeah, I mean, the support team will be triggering you with the emails.
Sure. Okay.
Individual user I will have a individual user ID and password, the login URL, all that will be sent to you in a mail.
Thanks, Shiva.
Yeah. Fine, gentlemen. So this is all for the day and this is all for this week. Let us again get connected on the next coming Saturday and see few more options. So almost by next weekend Sunday, we might even get started with employee central specific sessions. Employee central specific introduction session, we will definitely enter into it. Okay.
Shiva, one quick question. When are you going to do PMGM actual setups? Which week is that going to be in?
PMGM module, Employee Central, once I start, it will easily take 2 weeks. Say, 1 second, let me see the calendar. So the next week, 29th, we start with EC. So 5th and 6th also we have EC. And 12th, 13th, almost on May 13th, we might start with PMGM, May 13th.
Okay. And this course goes on till the 27th of May.
Yeah, around this, yeah, almost 26, 27. If we are quick, 1 week max we can get done, and 19, 20.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, once again. I'm saying we'll start on 13th, right? On 13th, it will take, yeah, easily, I think we will be on 2nd or 3rd. June first week, we'll be completing mostly. Let us see. Okay. Fine, everyone. Thank you. Have a nice weekend. The related documentations of the topics that we have covered these 2 days, I'll be uploading the training blog, and you'll also be getting email notifications whenever I upload the docs. Okay.
Thank you, Shiva. This was a very informative session, and I'm sure we all have learned quite a bit and be really enthused to continue the sessions.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you
Edgar.
very much.
Thank you, one and all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shiva.
Have a nice weekend. Thank you.